What is up, guys? Star Wars Only here today, and today I'm going to give you my top 10 Star Wars anthology or spin-off films, whatever you may call it. And these 10 are not in any order. It's not number 1's the best, not number 10's the worst. It's just, for me, my top 10 films that I think Star Wars fans would enjoy, and that I think if Disney or Lucasfilm made it and had good writers on it, could really have a good story to this. Now, it's not your normal one where, I have the same characters and the same stories as every other YouTube channel out there. I actually have, instead of just solo characters, I actually have stories that I want to hear, not just certain characters. It's kind of like Rogue One, that's not a certain character, it's a story, but Han Solo, that's a certain character. So I have a little bit of both. So, hope you guys enjoy this video. Comment your anthology films that you want below, and tell me if there's one that I missed that you really want. But these are my top 10 that I think everyone would enjoy if they came out. You'd be there opening night, because a lot of people haven't thought of these films, but I have. So, let's dive right into this in the top 10 Star Wars anthology films.
You ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Our first film that we have would be a Darth Sidious standalone film. The story of Darth Sidious and how Sheev Palpatine, because that's his full name, became Darth Sidious. And we learned in the book, and the book's not canon anymore, how he met Darth Plagueis and how they worked out and everything. And in the story, you hear him talk about his master, Darth Plagueis, and it is confirmed in the new books and whatnot that Darth Plagueis was his master. So it would be really interesting to see a story on how Darth Sidious became who he was, how he killed his master. It'd be amazing to see Darth Plagueis on the screen just in general. Now, I know that a lot of people don't know much about him, but this would be a very good way to learn about him, especially Darth Plagueis, because, like I said, there's not much of an origins on either of them anymore. So, I know people think Darth Plagueis is Snoke, but, it's confirmed that he's not, which is kind of disappointing. But still, it would be amazing to see Darth Sidious actually kill his master. Let's look at it. Palpatine was smart, very, very wise, knowledgeable on the dark side, and very convincing, just hearing him talk is very interesting. And what's good is the actor that plays Darth Sidious is still alive, so it's really possible to have this film go in, and it would be really enjoyable for many people, including myself. This is probably the one I'd want most out of a lot of these, because we don't see much of the dark side. That's what would be great about this film, is it's one of the films that can go more into the dark side than anything else. See the true power of the Sith, see what the Sith is really all about, because we can see how he learned about the Sith, or we can just even see him even before, Return of the Jedi during the original trilogy era. We could see him actually, going to Sith temples, training Darth Vader. Whatever, but I'd prefer to have one of his origins of seeing him being trained by Darth Plagueis and whatnot. I think that'd be amazing. So, I know a lot of people would like this film. I personally would love it as well. So, that's our first one. Another pretty good story would be the Darth Bane story. Now, if you haven't heard of Darth Bane, he is the creator of the Rule 2 in the Sith, which basically means there can only be two Sith, the Master and the Apprentice, no more, no less. And there's a lot of history to it and whatnot, and it's non-canon, the books of Darth Bane, but the character himself is canon, which, yes, that will confuse you, but basically, Darth Bane is canon. There's a guy named Darth Bane in the Star Wars series now, but his story and everything isn't really canon. All we know is that he created the Rule 2. So, we could possibly have a film explaining what that is. We could have a film showing Darth Bane's kind of, not per se history, because there's a lot to it, but they can rewrite it and they can make it however they want, because, it's free reign at this point, and they can make his story of how he created the Rule of Two and showing how the Sith were destroying each other and whatnot, and then himself picked up an apprentice and made the Rule of Two, and then he eventually died and whatnot. So that would be pretty awesome. And you see him in the Clone Wars Season 6, the Netflix thing, meeting Yoda at the tomb on Korriban and whatnot. So he's alive, and well, he's not alive. He was a thing, and his spirit lives on, blah, 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 who cares. But it would be quite awesome to see an ancient Sith story, an Old Republic style story, and how the Rule 2 became the part, and actually seeing some other Sith in the world, not just the same old Sith we're used to seeing. We get to see something prior. We get to see something way, way back when. And that would be pretty awesome. I think a lot of people would like the story. I know I would. He's not a very popular character among casual Star Wars fans, but people who love the EU, people who are diehard Star Wars fans and love his story, because his story is really, really good, would love this movie. And I think if they brought him up into the actual films, I think it'd do pretty good. So I really think they should make this film, because honestly, hearing about the ancient Sith in general, we don't hear much about the Sith, the ancient history of them and whatnot. This would be pretty awesome to hear about. Yes, you are seeing this correctly. Yes, you are reading this correctly. Jango Fett. Yes, I said it. I didn't say Boba Fett. Boba Fett. We'll get to that later. I said Jango Fett. I want a Jango Fett film. It'd be really cool to see him, being a bounty hunter and doing bounty hunter things, and then eventually being hired by Count Dooku, whose actor, yes, Christopher Lee, had passed away. But we can use, the CGI Tarkin kind of thing, except maybe like a hologram or something like that, not as extreme. And we can use that for the Jango Fett movie. It would just be really cool to see a character like this in the prequel era, because I don't expect many prequel era standalone films, because Disney's aware that a lot of people don't like the prequels. So this would be very unique. This would be very different, and it'd be interesting. You could see the prequel era and how everything was during that time and what it's like to be a bounty hunter. And this, you can say the same thing about his son for having a film with him, but this would be a curveball for people. A lot of people wouldn't expect a Jango Fett film, and if they came out with one, it'd be kind of awesome, honestly, to see how he became the specimen for the clone army, and even see some of the clones on screen, or maybe just them as babies and whatnot. It'd be really cool. So I think this would be a film that not many people are expecting, or many people would predict would happen, but I think it would be something very, very interesting, because we didn't ask for a Rogue One movie, we didn't ask for a Han Solo movie. Not that many people are asking for a Jango Fett movie, but if you tell them about it, they're probably going to be like, wow, that's not too bad of an idea, because he wasn't very elaborated on in the series at all, not even in the Clone Wars show, because he was dead. But still, none of his stories are canon, so why not make a canon story about him? Why not make a canon movie to show how badass Jango Fett was? Because there is a story where he killed 5 Jedi with his bare hands. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, he got taken out by Mace Windu and whatnot, but still, seeing him fight Obi-Wan Kenobi was fun. Just seeing him in general was really cool. You can even explore the fact that he was a Mandalorian and how the Mandalorians betrayed him, and to see the Mandalore side of it. That would be really cool. So I think this is a film that would be very underrated, and I think it would do great. Now, Darth Maul is a commonly requested film by the fans. Everyone loves the idea of a Darth Maul film, and we know we're going to see him in Season 3 of Rebels, where we have, but he's going to possibly die because he's going to fight Obi-Wan Kenobi. But before The Phantom Menace, we don't know what happens to Darth Maul. We don't know his origin story. We don't know why he started working for Darth Sidious. I mean, we know a little bit from the Clone Wars series, but we haven't seen that on the big screen, and we haven't seen him in training with we haven't seen Darth Maul in training with Darth Sidious. And that would be kind of cool, because both actors are alive. Ray Park has said he would love to do Darth Maul again. He's a little older now, but I mean, he could still pull it off. There's no doubt about it. So why don't we have a film like this? Why don't we see Darth Maul being trained by Darth Sidious? Why don't we see how he really became a Sith, and how he was just basically used as a weapon? And as you can tell in the video by T7 Pro, they made an amazing fan film off of Darth Maul and his character. Seeing him fight and everything, it looks amazing, and we could have a film exactly like this, where he just goes out and kills a couple Jedi to train and whatnot, to not really make his presence known, but kind of just go out and do it. And that would be really cool. So credit to T7 Pro for their amazing fan film, and they should be the ones who write a film about Darth Maul, because they did amazing here. And that's what we want, though. That's what the fans want. That's why this fan film looks so amazing, is because people want a Darth Maul film where he's just being a badass that he always is. So this is probably the most highest requested film for Star Wars fans in general. Of course, how can we deny the great Boba Fett? How can we deny him? Because he is another very highly requested fan favorite for a standalone film. We could see what happens to him after Return of the Jedi, if he really survived, or even before Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back, what he's doing. Maybe remodeling his father's ship or something. I think that already happened in the Clone Wars. But you know what I mean. We could have a Boba Fett standalone film where we just see what it's like in the life of a bounty hunter in his era and all that, and maybe even him run into the Mandalores as well and work things out with him, or just be Boba Fett. I mean, God, this guy's amazing. We had a lot of canon stories about him, and they're mainly comic book stories, so it's nothing unique or anything special at the moment, honestly. But still, we could see him escape the Sarlacc pit. We can see him do almost anything and everything. So why not make it? Boba Fett would do great in sales. I mean, if it makes money, it makes sense, and this one makes the most sense. And like I said before in a past video, they were making one. They were about to start going production and everything, but some things happened. But you know, hey, maybe we'll have another one coming out soon. So let's hope they make this film, because this one is a very, very big fan favorite.
Hello there.
So I've already made a top 10 reasons why we should have an Obi-Wan Kenobi film, but I have to put in this video on one of the main ones, standalone films that we all want, and that's an Obi-Wan Kenobi film. Ewan McGregor's down for it, it makes money, so it makes sense. I mean, there's so many possibilities that they can go with this. Now, in Season 3, like I have stated before about the Maul, Darth Maul thing, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Maul are fighting again in Season 3, so we don't know if Darth Maul's going to die. If he does, then that kind of screws things up for the Kenobi film. I mean, he might not be able to go after Darth Maul and kill him anymore, which I think would have been the best idea possible for that film. But there's many other ways they can go about this film. Like I said, there's The Last of the Jedi, where he maybe meets up with a couple of the Jedi or something. Maybe he tries to take down the Sith himself again. You never know. So many possibilities with this film, and it would be great. So this is another very, very highly requested film by all the fans. Our next standalone film is one that I really, really want to see. It would be somewhat like a Dawn of the Jedi kind of thing. Not even just the Dawn of the Jedi, but the Dawn of the Sith. I want a film that explains how the Force was discovered, how the Jedi and how the Sith became. Personally, I think it'd be kind of cool if two brothers discovered the Force and whatnot and kind of agreed to use it and then split apart. One used it for good, the other one kind of uses it for his own form of good, as in, passion, and he became the Sith, the other became the Jedi, and that's how the Sith and the Jedi started. How the prophecy became, the one about the Chosen One, and then also one for the Sith, because there's one about the Sith called the Sithari, where there's a Chosen One for the Sith, and we need to hear about that too. So there's things like that I want to discover that I feel like Disney should use and they should expand upon. I think this would be a really good film to explain how the Force came to be, how the Jedi and how the Sith came into what they are. In this scene, Darth Sidious says, "Once more the Sith shall rule the galaxy." Well, that is what I want to see. I want to see the Sith ruling the galaxy. I want to see how the Republic became what it is. I want to see the Jedi working with the Republic to destroy the Sith, or something like that. I want to see the Sith in control, because this is canon. The Sith used to rule the galaxy, apparently. That's why Palpatine says, once more, once again, we're going to do it again. I want to see the Sith ruling the galaxy, and a movie showing what it was like when the Sith ruled. Even if the Jedi don't win at the end, even if it's a darker kind of film, I want to see the Jedi come back, take over, or something. I just want to see some pastime stuff of the Sith actually ruling the galaxy. And yes, we saw the Sith technically ruling the galaxy during episodes 4 through 6, but it's not to the levels of the people actually knowing that they were being ruled by the Sith. I'm talking back in the day when they knew who the Sith were, and the Sith are actually the ones ruling, where there wasn't a rule of two. All this kind of stuff. So it'd be a very interesting film. I know it's not a popular idea, but I hope to popularize it, and I hope you guys like the idea too, because I think it would be a really, really good idea. Of course, we cannot say we don't want a Darth Vader film. Everyone would love a Darth Vader film. Good news is, you don't really need any special actors or anything, because it's kind of easy to do his voice nowadays, and you just need a guy in a big black suit. Not that hard. It's very doable. So this movie would be great because, like I said, it makes money, it makes sense. People would like it. People want a Darth Vader film. I would love to see him after episode 3 doing whatever. Hunting down Jedi would be interesting to see, or maybe even hunting Obi-Wan Kenobi, or doing whatever he can. Getting trained by Darth Sidious, that would be cool. So a Darth Vader story would be very nice, and it'd be very unique, and just seeing the Sith train like that, or whatever, him learning about the Sith in general, you never know. I think this would be a very good film. The timeline is pretty iffy. You can do it after episode 3, episode 4, after episode 5, I'd say after episode 6, but we all know how that went. So still, you can do a lot with this movie. There's limitless possibilities for this film, and I think it should be made. Last but not least would be Delta Squad. Now, if you don't know who Delta Squad is, you need to play a game called Republic Commando. It's a Star Wars game. It's not canon, the story is not canon. They had a couple books about these guys, but still. They're Republic Commandos, there's Boss, Fixer, Scorch, and Sev. And very easy to love characters, and they're clones. They fought in the Clone Wars and everything, but they're a special force. They are Delta Squad, and a lot of people love the game. Played it, loved it. I still play it to this day. So I think it would be a very good film to have just because it's showing the life of a soldier inside of the Clone Wars. And another thing, like the Jango Fett film, it's in the prequel era. A lot of people are asking for stuff before the prequels era and then after it. Nothing in it. And I think it'd be very interesting to have one set inside the prequel era just cause. I mean, it's something no one's asking for, and I know Disney's trying to avoid it because it's got a lot of bad attention. A lot of people don't like it, but this would be something that would bring some good light to it and make the movies look even better than they, whatever. But still, so I think Delta Squad would be a very good movie, and I think they should look into making it because it would be very unique and it'd be something different, and it'd be like Rogue One. It's a Star Wars story. It's not really set on one character. It would be about a group of guys and just the life of a soldier in the Clone Wars itself. And I know we have the show, the Clone Wars in general, but this would be real life action, and it would be very, very cool to watch. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have for today. Those were the 10 standalone/anthology films for Star Wars that I would like to see for the Star Wars universe. If you didn't see one that you liked, comment below the movie that you would like to see or a character you'd like to see. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment, like, subscribe. I'm Star Wars Only. I will see you next time. May the Force be with you, always.